Okay, what is going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to go kind of do my little first impression and breakdown of the Savage River here in Maryland. Now, if you're not familiar with the Savage River, this is the takeout, by the way. I'm just kind of like showing you guys a real quick takeout, and this is the put-in. That was a fast shuttle, wasn't it? Yeah, so this is the Savage River put-in. I'll leave links to the actual put-in and takeout below, kind of Google Maps of what I used. To get to this section right here, it's right outside Bloomington, Maryland, and it actually separates West Virginia and Maryland. It's the border. So I think the right side maybe is West Virginia, the left side is Maryland. I'm just walking over the bridge here. We parked at the upper parking lot and just walked across this area right here. So it was like a little bit of a walk. There doesn't seem to be much parking down here in this area. If you get there early, I guess you could kind of park there. By the way, this gets ran a lot. Even though, and I think what it is, it's because the releases are like, it only releases like 3 to 4 times a year. So when you do get it, you're going to see a lot of boaters there. I think it releases in June, July, and maybe September. You want to check and make sure that it's running before you make this haul up here. I'm just testing out the water. So to kind of tell you what to expect, the water temperature is colder on this. There's Don, yeah. So anybody that knows high water hobbies, Don, that's him. I'm with Glenn. He's showing me down, and Don. I've never actually been up here. So back onto the water temperature here, it's kind of cold, but it's not freezing. So if you're going to be swimming, I recommend a dry suit. If you think that you don't have a solid roll, actually I wouldn't even tell you to do this run unless you have a solid roll. And I'll get into that as we start paddling down here. So this is the put-in rapid right here. So as you can see, you walk down, you put in, there's zero warm-up, everybody. You just paddle out and go. So if you're not that type of paddler and you need to kind of warm up in flat water, practice rolls and all that, you might want to do that somewhere else before you get here, because you see what I did? I peeled out and I went. And the characteristics, American Whitewater has it as a 3-4. I would say that's pretty close because of the fact that it is very continuous. And that, I mean, they say it's the longest class 3-4 rapid in all of Maryland, whatever that means. You know, it is basically one long rapid. The average gradient seems to be around about 100 feet per mile. I'm just hitting some eddies. I'm still at the put-in. I'm just hitting some eddies on my way down. And the flow rate on the releases seems to be, I think it was a little around 1,000 right here in this video. So just to give you guys an idea of what the flow rate's going to be. But apparently it runs with natural flow. It's released out of the Savage River Reservoir, I think what that's called. And it seems to be just a very continuous run all the way down. So you could paddle all types of crafts, from longboats, squirt boats. I'm in a Piranha Storm, which is a small half slice. And it seems to be perfect for this run right here, honestly. Lots of stern stalls, lots of stern squirts. It's a little shallow in spots, like right here. You see me go down, I hit bottom right there. But it starts kind of behind these rocks. Watch, I have to dive deep here so I don't run over. So when that happens, there's a lot of hit on the fly stuff. You just kind of like paddle down, and you don't get, because it's a continuous river, when you see these holes and eddy lines coming up, try to hit them quick, because they'll come at you fast and you don't have time to react. Especially me being the first time on it. I'm not claiming to be any expert by no means of this river. I'm just giving you kind of my first impressions and overall thoughts of this run, and maybe the skill sets that you need for this. So you need a solid roll, and I would say you need good boat control, because you can kind of get spun around backwards, sideways, and flip. So a solid roll would definitely be a mandatory thing, and I think being in a good solid group. It is all roadside, by the way, so if you're from the southeast, I would compare it to the upper Nantahala, the river below, say, like the Cascades, but above the regular Nantahala. It's definitely a step up from the Nantahala. It's a step down from the upper Yacht. If you're comfortable on the upper Yacht, you're going to be totally fine here. If you're comfortable on the Ocoee, I think you'll be fine here too. It's one of those runs where, you know, it's just busy, keep pointed downstream, and if you're kind of question it, take a creek boat or river runner, you'll be totally fine here. Not a lot of splats, but there are a lot of like eddies for that, kind of like those whip around style eddies. The first time I'd heard of this river actually was in an old William Neely book. You guys comment if you've ever seen the William Neely, I think it's the, I don't know, Paddler's Guide or something, whatever he called it. I can't remember what it, the Home Companion. I think that's what it was, the Paddler's Home Companion. And I remember reading up on the Savage River, and I was like, wow, that sounds so awesome. And it's been on my list forever. And then I realized it actually does not run that much. This river does not have like a lot of releases, unlike what we're used to in the South. You know, we get releases about every weekend, sometimes 7 days a week. So it's hard for me to catch. The thing that is great about this, you're only less than 45 minutes, an hour from the upper Yacht. So if you're in the area, go do the upper Yacht because you will have a great weekend. I did the upper Yacht on Friday and then got up on Saturday and came here and paddled this on Saturday. There is some camping here apparently. So yeah, you can get some camping in this area. I think it's, I don't know the name. I don't think it's an official campground, but it is some paid camping. Check it out. You don't have service up here. You do have, I only had one bar of service, so just to note, try to plan ahead because you will be out of service, but you're close to town. There's a road that I think it's like Savage River Road. It runs all the way down to Bloomington, and you could just go back into town, get food, get whatever you need. I think there's a few restaurants in town. Nice little kind of town there, you know, that's right. Then you can go over to West Virginia in a town called Piedmont or something like that. So it's a cool little area. I like the area a lot up there. I like getting up there. It's just a kind of a far drive for me. Yeah, so back to the river here. Once again, you can see how you can just catch these catch on the fly eddies and just stay real busy all the way down. There's not a lot of booths. There's some kind of water booths on the edges. Yeah, I'm starting to find more of my flow in the deeper runs right there. Oh, you can see my camera starting to fog up. Now, this happens a lot with GoPros, and you'll see this a lot, especially if you're doing a lot of stern stalls and you're dunking the camera in very cold water. But the air temp here, you got to think it's a 75-degree day, but the water temp is in the 40s and the air temp is in the 70s. So that transition is why my lens is starting to fog up. It's always a problem I have. I have that problem when I'm in Colorado a lot too. This seems to be kind of a rapid right here. I don't know really any of the rapids names. I would recommend going over to American Whitewater, checking out the rapids names, but honestly, I don't even think a lot of the rapids need to be named on this. This is some sort of dam, and then it goes down into like some flow right here. I ran the left side. There is a tree right here on the left with a big eddy. This is, I think, a boat like the Rewind or Piranha Endozone would be a great boat for this run right here because of the fact it's river runish, and you could do a lot of kind of eddy catching and ferrying, blast ferries and turns and kind of going like that, or a longboat. You can, if you longboat this, I would think, because you notice there's no flat water. If you were longboating, I would say I could do this in 20 minutes. I don't know, maybe. I didn't try, but if you put in a longboat like a Vanguard or 12R or something, I think you could just smoke this out. Instead of like, I think our run took us around about, expect with playing and surfing and all that, I would say it's spec'd around about maybe 2 to 3 hours. And you could get multiple laps on this. I don't know how long the run actually, I don't know how long the water lasts. From what I was told, the water turns on at 6 and they do a slow ramp up. It doesn't just turn up. When I got there, it was probably about 8 o'clock. There was already water in the river. So I'm thinking you could probably run it early if you really wanted to. But it's like a slow ramp up. So it's probably like 400 or 500 CFS. And then you get the full release at 10 a.m. And I think it runs till about 4 p.m. So maybe 10 to 4 on the releases, or 10 to 2 or something like that. So you get a release there where you could get a lot of laps. You're putting in very close to the dam. So just be prepared that if you get there late, you will run out of water because there's not like a long lead time on that. Got a 360 here. Crossbow 360, check that out. There's not many 360 rocks on this run, but the rock right there looked very slick, so I was able to pull it off. But most of the rocks I don't even fool with because they're very sharp and they're not very slick. So I don't really mess with those styles of rocks right there. It was a very easy takeout and put in to find. I had no problems at all. Once you get there, you can pretty much just follow the boaters. If the Savage is running, there will be people here. It seems to get ran a lot. And if something else is running in the area, you can get something else in the area too. Crazy thing, I didn't even know that this Savage River is part of the Potomac River. That's actually where the Great Falls and all that is. So this runoff is some of the Potomac watershed. Where the takeout is, it starts coming in and forming the north branch of the Potomac, which goes over and eventually gets into the Potomac River, which is where you see, you know, the infamous Great Falls, the Maryland and Virginia and all that. You know, that's where that is. So just a little side note right there. I actually didn't even know that. I've never really scouted this area out. I know a lot of locals might be like, yeah, everybody knows that. Well, I didn't know it, so I'm telling everybody that hasn't been here, that's what this is. That this is actually the same watershed as the Great Falls water. Doing just a little attainment right there. You can do some kind of ferries. As far as like hull playing, I'm in a Storm, which is a shorter kind of half slice with a big volume bow. There are a couple of little tree right there you'd want to watch out for. I wouldn't want to flip under that if I was a newbie. That could cause some problems. I didn't see really much of any dangers. Oh, check out this splat, everybody. One of the best splats on the whole river. Nobody went for it. I was like, wait, look at this rock. Look how long I can carry that splat. But then I turned around, see that root ball? Up, kicking the motors. That was a root ball right there, so don't mess with that. Yeah, as far as like boats, you could paddle a play boat down this, and as far as dangers, from what I see, foot entrapments would be an issue if you were swimming. There's no big holes. There's a couple kind of spicy holes, but I wouldn't say they're violent holes. There was no real strainers. There are I think there's one undercut rock that you want to be mindful for. I would recommend paddling it with someone that knows it if you're uncomfortable on it. I'm pretty good at just kind of like reading and running, but I get it. If you get there, you could probably find a group to paddle down with if you're by yourself. But personally, I would say try to get it with a local that points you, don't go here, don't go there, to give you an idea of what to avoid. But I didn't see any problems. Your biggest problem would be a swim and gear management. So if you swam, look at this. Imagine how far your paddle and boat would go before someone could get it. This would take forever to get your gear to the bank. Your swims could last a while too, so be very careful for foot entrapments. If you swam out here, keep your feet up and just try to get to the bank really fast. Like I said, the road is on the river left-hand side, so you'd be able to hike down and find your crew and your gear. There's good little access points all the way down, so I don't see that being that bad of an issue. And you know what? If you're not feeling it and you have a beat down at the put in, you're just having a bad day. There ain't nothing wrong with just taking out and hiking back to your car and then helping everybody else with Shuttle, because it's such an easy roadside run. I love the way this Storm has that tail load booth. Y'all see how I can kind of load that tail and get that bow up nicely on that. This dude and his goofy cross bows. Little booth right there. That was one of kind of the better booths on there. Naaman's in a spade boat. If you guys are interested in any spade boats, hit him up. He's pretty much have all the spade connection here in the southeast, that's for sure. He's in the Spade Bliss. You see it up there? This was one of the better surf waves on the run too. This was just in the middle. It has good eddy access on the river left-hand side. You see how there's another wave up there he's going for. So you can actually use that wave, that eddy access, and work your way up to the top hole. And then you could do a ferry across and hit this. And I seriously, if I wanted to, I could just stay on this wave as long as I wanted to. You could stay on this wave while I'm doing those little rotators. Kind of a cross bow spin of the paddle. There's Don over there. Just in a surf. It's so easy to surf this way. I don't even know if it has a name. I'm sure it has a name. Let's look at American Whitewater and see if they name a lot of the rapids. Crisscross, double hole, swinging bridge, triple drop, Memorial Rock. I couldn't tell you where any of these. Hutch Demise. That sounds scary. Metal Bridge. I think I'm already through Metal Bridge. You got Island 1, Island 2, and then Release Takeout. Now, right here, it seems to be getting a little more mellow. So that upper section, what you've seen, was probably the stoutest part of the whole river. Just busy. If I had to describe this to someone, I would say just busy class 3 plus pushy water the whole way. Nothing really stood out. Thinking back, there was no rapids that kind of stood out to me. Yeah, and it's hard to keep the water because of the cold water. It seems to get on the lens. There's a really good eddy right here. Boom. See how I land this eddy, turn upstream? It's one of the harder eddies apparently out here is what Don was saying to get. See, I kind of came down. Now watch, most of them wash out. You want to come down, turn your shoulders upstream, and then rotate around. I would have crossbowed it if I'd known that rock was there, and that would have pulled me up tighter in it. That's what we're talking about, was this little eddy access right here. That's one, I guess that was one of the stouter. And there was a hole right after it. So you see the eddies right up there? Just to know, there's a hole right here that could, if you don't have good air, skill level of getting out of the hole, I could see that, churning you right there. And then if you come out, it's going to be kind of shallow on the backside. You'll tag your head. There was a good little kind of tail load booth right there. Going on down, I think that's, like I said, this was some sort of dam. This was the fisherman access on the map, but this is a takeout that a lot of them use. So a lot of people will use this takeout right there. I don't really know what this takeout is, but you'll see it. If you want to take out there, you could easily take out there and not having to go this entire. There's probably, you're missing maybe, I would recommend going all the way down to the bigger takeout, honestly, because of the fact that it never lets up. It's not like there's flat water paddle out. And there's a nice little hole right here. I didn't even know this was a good hole. Don was telling me about it, and I thought he meant tail load it. Don't hit it on the fly. So I'm trying to like stern squirt it and do like a whip around. Then I realized, oh, that's actually a nice, I walked back up. So I'm trying to hit it from walking back up. It's so hard to slow your momentum down. I almost got it right here and got some spins. I'm trying to settle it down, but I washed out. So yeah, you want to hit this on the fly, turn around backwards, and then paddle upstream really fast, and then try to hit it. Because I could tell it's a great 360 hole. I think if you had a boat like a Torque or an Ozone, you could really throw down in a boat like that out here. Mixmaster, Supernova. Yeah, look at this wave right here. Now we're getting real close to the takeout. This was a nice little kind of rapid right here that I think you could throw. If you had a full slice, you could throw some cartwheels down. I probably wouldn't paddle a full slice out here, honestly. I don't think there's enough play to justify it. I would think what I'm in, a half slice is the craft to have out here, or a creeker. Half slice or creeker is what I would recommend. I wouldn't paddle like a spud boat. I would do a long boat if you just wanted to bang it out, but I like to enjoy runs like this. Okay, now this is the takeout. You're going to hike up a trail on the right. It's not a very well-known takeout. It looks like. I'm actually parked on the left. Before everybody got here, I walked down, checked out the takeout, so I knew where I could take out by this tree. I was looking for this kind of overgrown tree right there. So hit this little tight eddy. Boom, right there. My vehicle is right here. Super easy takeout. I recommend this one way over the other one. You just jump out, walk up, and there you go. And guys, if you got any questions on this takeout, on this river, I can do the best I can to help you. I don't know it completely, but I know what I went through to get there and everything that I'd seen on it. So leave in the comments below what you think of the Savage and what you think of this video. If you like it, I'll do more like it. So yeah, there it is, and I will see you in the next one.